Good Wednesday midday. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at sea surface temperatures over the last year, we can see this La Nina developing here. The actual area sea surface temperatures and the anomaly. And we're going to take a look at the cold air that moved across. So this was the our Arctic air that moved in, the anomalous cold of December into the first part of January. So we currently have a trough of lower pressure that's produced a cold front, and this frontal system has some snow and into the deep south, even as far south in some of the panhandle regions around New Orleans, Pensacola. We've seen a little bit of mixed precipitation types early on this morning. This is sort of the last part of this snow that's going to be working on through the region. This weather hazards outlook, valid the rest of today, Wednesday, through next Tuesday, January the 23rd. No impacts for utilities in Vermont. This into early next week. 2 dry project weather days ahead, Thursday and again on Saturday. Main weather maker is just down the road a piece at the very end of this period from next Tuesday, January the 23rd. Warm intrusion to reintroduce the next mixed precipitation and wind event. Precipitation may be copious as it'll tap into the Gulf of Mexico. But as systems go, this is kind of low confidence this far out. Arctic air stays to our north and well to our west, with the overall seasonal to above normal temperatures expected. A quiet weather period through Monday, and then a bigger storm system on Tuesday. Current temperatures across the region you can see here. Basically in the 20s, 30s down in the southern parts of New England, where there's been some copious amounts of snow through this particular period. We have the sort of tail end of the lifting mechanism with that trough of lower pressure that's going to be pinwheeling through. This should be pretty much out of here later this evening, but could produce anywhere from 1 to 2 inches additional snowfall to the south across mainly southern sections of the state. We'll take a little planetary stroll here. These are 2-meter temperature anomalies, and you can see that the coldest of the cold, at least a cold spot down there in the Gulf coastal areas, even in the south. And notice how warm it is, at least as compared to normal. Also another cold spot setting record low temperatures in parts of Eurasia here, Siberia. Take a look at the little bit of a different view. This is again Siberia. There's our cold weather. Looking at the Pacific, no great shakes here in terms of anomalous temperatures. Again, the cold up in the northern hemisphere, in the Gulf coastal states, and so forth. GFS ensemble centered on Burlington, Vermont. You can see this is our particular little cold snowfall here. Notice the temperatures, we start to see a bit of a warm-up here, as indicated with the precipitation type. Going over to green, of course, that's rain. Some mixed precipitation types here. So this is going to be a problematic here. This is our next big storm we're talking about Tuesday. From the Weather Prediction Center, 7-day total QPF. This is valid through Wednesday morning. And you can see that roughly about an inch of precipitation forecast. And it looks like the fire hydrant really opens up here for the West Coast. They really could use the rainfall all good. I wish it got down into Baja and Southern California. Deserts could really use some rainfall. They're going to stay relatively dry, but that's the latest. Let's check temperatures. Again, GFS ensemble temperatures here. This again centered on Burlington. So these are usually a little bit more conservative than what actually happens. The temperature is right about the 30-degree mark. Coldest night will be tonight. And then you can see a procession of warming, and we get into that level around the 23rd. This is when that storm will occur. Looking at 850 millibars, hectopascals, you're looking at temperatures going above the freezing mark. That would be on Saturday, a little dip on Sunday, and then you're getting into that weather system here that could provide us with some wind, some wet snow, some mixed precipitation types, and so forth. Here we have our weather system beginning to exit out of the region, and as we move along, better conditions for basically Thursday. That's Thursday night. And then on Friday, just a very weak weather system produces a few flurries. Then moves on through Vermont, gets out of here. Sets the stage for what should be a pretty fine Saturday, and actually a warmer Saturday. Temperatures knocking on the door of 40 degrees. Now you might notice here, this is 96 hours out, but this is an Arctic front, so this little frontal boundary is going to come closer right there, and it may or may not affect us on Sunday, but the modeling does kind of indicate there's something coming in there with colder temperatures. Then we have our weather system that is the one that's going to be moving in for Tuesday. This is a kind of a panhandle low that's going to be going into the lower Great Lakes and then so forth. Keeping an eye on that. Produces a warm front, some gusty winds, southeasterly winds, likely downsloping winds on the western slopes of the Green Mountains. Also copious amounts of moisture, even some thunderstorm activity to our south. We're going to be in the warm sector here. It looks like above freezing, overrunning precipitation. And then colder on the backside, secondary low and so forth. And the low gets out of here. So weighted temperatures the next 5 days, these are high temperatures, are above normal. 3 days later, continued above normal. Julian oscillation shows that we're in basically warm phase 4, warm 5. We're headed that way. And our stormy side here is usually 8 and 1. And this is working its way around the belt here. So this is some time to come. Potentially the second week of February, we might be in this area here. So that could be a very stormy period and also colder across the eastern seaboard. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.